It's impossible for a person to sleep still. If it's you, then you will be kicking the blanket and fighting with bed till morning, thinking of the tall figure who might be hiding on the small bed in the ward and sitting down bitterly. A very clear scene appeared in your mind. You couldn't help but want to laugh, and you did it anyway. Forgive that man. Because of him, his sister has suffered a lot. Then what does brother think I should do? That person blocked everything for me, is now laying in the hospital with injuries all over his body. If it wasn't him, the person laying there right now would be me, and the person who brought me food might be you. Even so, do you still want to stop me? You know that if it wasn't for him, then you wouldn't be in trouble. You get closer to him, there will be trouble in the future too. If he can block for you once, can he block for you twice or thrice or for the rest of your life? Your expression changed. I don't want to think about this right now. I don't have any other thoughts about him. If it's not him or just some stranger, even so, I will still go to the hospital to take care of him. This is benevolence without personal feelings. He stared at you seriously. Are you sure you don't have personal feelings? Can you promise me that you won't be with him? Yes, I promise. You nodded. I have never thought of being together with him, so I don't need to worry about that, brother. Should take your own matter than taking care about mine. I will handle myself. He walked over and held your shoulders. I don't care about it. You are the daughter of Kim family now. I don't want you to repeat the same mistake as before. Do you understand? Of course, I understand, but I'm not child. I want to decide my own life, not that someone need to lead it or prepared for me. That kind of life is not what I want. He looked at you steadily, then let go of your shoulders before turning around to leave. You didn't know whether he understand what you mean or not. He need time, he is your brother. You know he won't be mad at you for long, so you walked out quickly. He watched you with the corner of his eyes, and the expression in his eyes dimmed. Jenny stood beside him and said weakly, Mr. Kim, don't be angry. Sarang is a soft hearted person. No matter who saved her, she will take care of them. She didn't go to the hospital because of who that person is. The most important thing is what that person did. Avoiding him after incident of hug, she mustered her courage today to stand in front of him and talk behalf of you. She had known you long and she believes that Sokchin also known about his sister's character. He looked at the women in front. The little girl in front of him suddenly came over to kiss him last time. No one had ever done such shocking things to him. So this incident had affected him for a long time. His gaze made her shiver. He looked at her and stepped forward. That gaze he gives made her shuddered. I should go. Rovon is alone. She immediately ran for her life. He frowned. What's with this woman? It's more than odd when you came to the hospital. When he saw you, a hint of joy flashed across his originally black eyes. However, it was quickly replaced with gloominess again. He sat there without saying anything. Then why would you bother with him? You unpacked the food on the table. The fragrance of food drifted out and filled the entire ward. He had been waiting here for a long time without eating anything. Actually, he didn't eat lunch at noon. When he received your call, he immediately rushed over, so his stomach was empty. The fragrance of foods made his stomach restless. But when he saw that you didn't even talk to him, he frowned slightly. This woman. Did this woman realize that he is patient here and he needs some attention? He glanced at you and wanted to say something but couldn't utter a word. You bring bowl of porridge and move forward. Eat it. Considering that he was injured and was not in a good condition, you had been speaking so softly and even brought the food to him. He didn't take it, instead stared at you unhappily. You raised your brows. What? You're not hungry? You told me to wait for you for an hour. You nodded. Yes. Is there a problem? He stared at you with that gaze, seems to complaining. You are 30 minutes late. So because I'm late, you're not going to eat anymore? You move bowl a little forward, coax me I'm a patient. You take a deep breath and held back the urge to blow his head off. Your lips curled into a slight sneer. Are you serious? He nodded and sat forward. If you don't coax me, I won't eat. If I don't eat, my wounds will probably be very difficult to heal. This is for you that I got injured. The doctor said that there will be scars in the future. You looked at him. Was this person deliberately taking advantage of his wounds? It was very obvious. And I have to repair surgery. Do you have the heart to make me not eat? You scoffed and placed ball on side table, making clear sound. Whether you want to eat it or not, I'm not the one who starved to death anyway. You walked to the chair and sat picking the food that you prepare for yourself and take a bite, then glanced at him. Out of the corner of your eyes, that man actually laid back on the bed. You looked at him disbelief and quickly walked to him. What are you doing? Don't you know that your back is injured? How could you lay it flat? Get up. He was lying with the expression that he had nothing to live for. No one cares about me. It would be better if I died. What was with that tone of this child? He was stunned for good seconds and then finally realized something. This man's personality had really changed. He treated you shamelessly now. Did he forget that he is the president of big companies and didn't care about his image at all? How could there be such a person? The Jungkook you knew was the person who cared about his face a lot, that even can step on others' pride. Although you're very angry, but you saw his injuries, it made you helpless. He was really badly injured. The skin on his back was burnt, and you're afraid that it will definitely leave scars. The pain should be very great that no ordinary person could endure. However, he is using his wound to argue, then probably he wanted you to stay with him. You also think so. You let outside, you will let his injuries healed and requested him to get up. Consider it me begging to you, Jungkook. You should get up and eat something. Your body is the most important thing right now. If not, then your life will be gone. You begin to nag at him like an old grandma. His expression changed and looked at you. Are you trying to coax me? You nodded, smiling, isn't it? His nose scrunches. Not really. I still don't want to eat it. You really lost your temper now? Then what do you want? He raised his hand and pointed at the corner of his mouth. The meaning was very obvious. You bite lower lips, glaring at him. This shameless man. Impossible. I can only coax you to eat it, but there is nothing else. Jungkook, if you don't want to eat it, then I will throw away all the porridge that made by me. Then I will call Lee Min-ho and ask him to take care of you. As for your injuries, I will bear all the medical expenses. You take out your phone. He suddenly sat up. His movements were so fast that made you shocked. Before you could react, he grabbed your wrist. Did you just say that those things were made by you? He didn't care about the rest. He cared about this. He was forcing his body to get up violently. That could affect his wound. You went around to look at his back, even though he was grabbing your wrist tightly. You used your free hand to lift his upper cloth. He is wearing scrub suit that's specially made for patients. It's loose and comfortable for patients. Answer me. His wound was dressed well, and there seems no problems with it now. Yes, I made them myself. So, are you going to eat them or not? Yes, I will eat now. I was wrong. He removed the grip. You quickly bring the porridge. Hurry up and eat it. It will be cold later. He actually nodded obediently and held the bowl, then drank it. After taking a sip, he frowned in disgust. Why, it is so light. What else could it be? You are injured. Do you want to eat spice feast? Seeing the cold expression on your face, his mouth twitched. No, this is good. You also eat yours. After finished eating, you clean it and take out your phone to check. It's already past 8 p.m. Rovon will be okay with his uncle and Aunt Jenny, so you don't have to worry about it. But he will be worried if he didn't saw you again like before. When he saw you with phone, he stared at you unhappily. You want to go back? You purse your lips and put phone in the bag. I will stay here with you, don't worry. He was surprised. He didn't expect you will take the initiative to stay. He thought that you were going to use your ultimate skill again. He smiled. Don't think that I don't know what you are thinking. You are injured behalf of me, so you are taking advantage of your wound to make me do as you wish. Wait until you healed. You sat firmly and sat down on the chair beside. Then take out phone to check your inbox. You got many texts. Taeyong also asked about Rowoon, so you replied back. Jungkook was exposed on the spot, but he is not angry or embarrassed. So what if you saw through him, even though he knew that he was despicable, but as long as he could keep you by his side, as long as the result was in line with his wishes. He doesn't care about anything. How's Rowoon doing there? Are you busy? Cause you are the boss of companies now. He's good. Yeah, kind of. Sarang, when will you guys going to visit here? I miss baby Rowoon and you. Well, why don't you come to country instead? Rowoon have school and I'm handling office works. It's been while for Taeyong to talk with you cause of your busy schedule. It's rare for him to get text back from you. You're keeping with your phone almost 20 minutes, not paying attention on Jungkook. Neither asked about his wound. If he's hurt or anything, he felt unhappy. Was his presence so low? He let out muffled groans and you subconsciously looked at him. When you saw his pale face with painful expression and the bitterness was obvious, that scared you and made you rush towards him. What's wrong? Is the wound worsening? I will call the doctor right away. He was about to rant, but he stopped you. No, don't go. You turned to look at him. Don't you feel pain? I will ask the doctor to look at the wound. Can you wait for a while? I will go first. You quickly left the ward to call the doctor over. Not long after, you came back with doctor following to check on him. What's going on? Didn't the wound treat it before? Why did it suddenly get worsened? Your expression changed, then look at Jungkook. You recalled what he had done before, but this man was calm as if he didn't take his own body seriously at all. He didn't speak and keep silence. So doctor look at you. I will treat it again, but at night. You have to lie down on your stomach to sleep. You can't touch the wound for time being and don't do any tearing actions to prevent the wound from worsening. This is serious. You have to take a good care. If anything happens later, don't blame me. You know it? Okay, I have noted it all down. I will make him pay attention on it. Doctor treated him and dressing the wound. Jungkook's focus was all on you that he didn't even look away. Doctor was young man around his early 35 to 40. How can he not know about the man's case for this woman? Take care of your husband. This is a serious injury. If the root of the illness is left, it will be very troublesome in the future. Your lips moved, but keep on silent. What to deny, therefore? He is indeed the husband of yours. Jungkook looked at you with his unstable emotions. You glanced at him and feel the heat. If you said anything, you are afraid that this person might do something. He might ignore his wound, but you couldn't. You nodded. I gotta go. Doctor left. Jungkook looked at you with a satisfied smile. Why don't you deny it? You looked at him and rolled your eyes. Is it useful to deny it? Do you think he will believe it? Although you looked annoyed, when he saw you like this, his eyes deepened. and his heart beat in excitement. His lips curved into a small smile and said in a low voice, "You heard it just now. Take care of your husband. If not, then you will be in trouble in the future." You sneered, then went to fresh up. You were tired and sleepy. It's already 10 p.m., and you had many thoughts in your mind running, but now all you think is to take care of his wound for time being. Let him heal first. Once his wound heal, he won't be able to take advantage of it, even he wanted. You walked out, wiping your face. "Are you sleepy? Do you want me to help you rest?" He shook his head and sat there silently. Because he had wounds on his back, he didn't even have the chance to lean against back. He could only force himself to sit. However, sitting like this seemed very tiring. It was quite miserable to be injured on back. You also thought and went to find pillows, then placed them in front of him. "It's fine if you don't want to sleep, but sitting like that is very tiring. If you feel tired, then you can lean forward." You pointed it. He looked at them with ugly expression. How could he lie down like this in front of you? How ugly was that? He didn't move, and you also stood there. The air seemed to be quiet. You sighed. "Are not you going to lie down? Don't you feel tired sitting all the time?" He looked at you and thought of something. "Do you want me to rest so much?" You nodded. "You can say that. How will you recover if you don't rest?" "If you don't want me to see it, then I will turn around." You turned around, but he stopped you and put pillows aside. "Take a seat." You were confused. "What do you want?" "We will know. Sit first." Thus you sat down with a puzzled expression. He put pillow behind to support your back and another under your legs. Then he laid down by his tummy, putting his head on your lap. Is he using you as a human cushion for him? You complained in your heart but didn't resist. You didn't feel uncomfortable like this and let him lean on you. Actually, it's uncomfortable for him to laying down, but it was much better than sitting upright all the time. Furthermore, his breath was filled with the aura of this woman, and he is satisfied. The ward quietened down. You lowered your head to look at the young man in front. His head was slightly turned towards you. His eyes were closed as you softly patted on his arms, and another hand put on his head softly. Very soon his breath became even. You already prepared to let him sleep on your thighs for the entire night, so you leaned back and closed your eyes, falling asleep as well. It was probably that scene affected you greatly. You got nightmare of him rushing to block you. He was injured a lot than reality in that dream. Your breathing was a little hurried, then wake up only to find that he's still sleeping heavily. You didn't dare to disturb him and slightly turned to look at the watch on your wrist. It was past 3 in the morning. You lowered your head to look at him. His face was pale and the lips was dried and sweat was profusely coming. He slept there like a very fragile patient. It was just that he is the one who forced you to stay here with his injuries. What he wants, why he is using such a method to keep you here. What was that face of his? Is he satisfied sleeping on your lap? Those who didn't know would think that he adored you to the extreme. However, if he really likes you that much, then why did he throw the divorce contract to you 5 years ago and then refuse to see you? Your hands trembled on his fragile face. Why this boy is so hard to forget? What good he have done? You make a fist and resist your hand to touch him, then close your eyes tiredly, as if you had fallen into that painful memory. In this life, you really didn't want to experience it a second time. Jungkook, what are you trying to do? You used such a method to keep me and showed such a satisfied expression. In the early morning, he had already woken up but didn't move. Last night, he has maintained this posture as he laid on your lap. In the middle of night, he had woken up and sat there for a while. You were sleeping soundly, so he watched you quietly. It was very strange. Although 5 years had passed, this woman's plain face was not inferior to 5 years ago at all. On the contrary, you were more confident than before. Thus, there was a certain charm between your brows. He could never get enough of it.